Welcome everybody to Good Vibes Gaming. I'm Brandon, joined today by John Cartwright, and we're here to rank the Deluxeiest Nintendo Deluxe game ever made. And if you don't know what we're talking about, there are several games Nintendo has given the Deluxe moniker, and if you've been playing games in the Switch era, then you would know that. But that's not the only era that this has taken place in. There's Super Mario Bros. Deluxe on Game Boy Color, as well as Link's Awakening DX, which just means Deluxe. So there's some interesting picks here, and our job is to find the Deluxeiest Deluxe game Nintendo has ever released.
And I know some people are going to say, oh, what about Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition? Or what about Tokyo Mirage Sessions Encore? Do you see the word deluxe in those titles? I don't see. I'm looking at. I don't see them. I don't see them anywhere.
I don't see Deluxe. So, not on the box.
It's not about remasters. It's not about remakes. This is just about ranking the games that have Deluxe in the title. So shall we go ahead and try and ranking our first Deluxe game?
Yeah. So our first game is Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, and the funny thing about this is, I think, one of the only games on the list I actually haven't played.
It's a pretty good one. I mean, like, compared to other Deluxe games, they've done like a complete visual overhaul. They've also added a new campaign at the end. I think it's one of the higher up there Deluxe games.
So that extra campaign, is it like fully featured? I remember people saying it was pretty good.
It was pretty good, yeah. It's not like a feature-length Kirby game or anything, but it's more like an epilogue. I think it's great, yeah. I'll be honest though, I know some people love Adventure Wii or Return to Dreamland. I think it's one of the more just sort of normal Kirby games. I much prefer stuff like Robobot or Forgotten Land. I think this one's a really good normal Kirby, but it's not like one of my favorites of all time.
It's like boilerplate Kirby, right? This is the new Super Mario Kirby game.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine, because when the original Wii version came out, it had been quite a long time since there had been just a quote-unquote standard Kirby game, especially one in 3D and on console.
Yeah, the last one was Kirby 64, really.
And that is as far away from a standard Kirby game as you can get, in my book.
Yeah. But if we're judging just the deluxeness, this must be pretty high up there. But it's not really about the game quality, it's about the deluxeness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it got a new coat of paint and some new content. New content's big.
Yeah.
I would put that up maybe even into A tier, I think.
I just looking at everything else here, I think there may be only one other game that may be S, perhaps. So I'm happy to put this in A for now, but I guess we'll reevaluate as we go.
And chat and everyone watching the YouTube video, feel free to tell us why we're wrong.
Yeah, you can shout at us. It's fine.
Next up, Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Interesting thing. Yeah, interesting thing about Pikmin 3 Deluxe is I bought Pikmin 3 on Wii U and didn't finish it, or really play it all that much in general, because I did not like the control scheme with the Wii U gamepad, and managing 3 guys at the same time was a lot for my little brain to handle at the time. So the Switch version is actually the first time I played through the entire game.
Oh.
And I loved it. I actually played it co-op.
And that's new. You couldn't do that in the Wii U version.
Exactly.
Part of the
so
deluxeness.
The deluxeness is pretty good here. You got the co-op mode. There was DLC in the original, right? That's all baked in now.
Yeah, there was DLC. I remember there was like a Christmas level DLC with a really good looking pizza. And Switch owners just get that by default. Yeah, the bingo battle was really good in Pikmin 3, and that's in both versions. But yeah, this was a really good one. I think the only thing that maybe doesn't give it the best deluxeness is they didn't change the resolution at all. It's one of the few Nintendo remasters that's still 720p like the Wii U one was.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, but
I mean, and it's such a pretty game too.
Yeah. But otherwise, though, they added a lot more. There's like there's some Olimar chapters in there that weren't in the Wii U version, in addition to the co-op. In terms of content, this does a lot. In terms of visuals, it doesn't do much. But I don't know. I like me some deluxe content.
I think just adding co-op on its own is massive.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
And especially in Pikmin 3, where you have 3 captains, it really changes the way you approach the gameplay. This one might also be A for me.
I might agree, yeah. I'm looking at some games, or a few games coming out, which I wouldn't really put anywhere near this level, but yeah, this may be A. It may be A.
All right, things might take a turn starting here. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. What even is Deluxe about this, John?
It has less content than the game it's deluxing off. so
It's technically true.
I always hear, like, oh, it's got Mario U and Luigi U. They did that on Wii U. They had Wii U bundles that had Mario U and Luigi U. There was a physical version that had both of them together. That was already deluxed. And then there was like a coin editor on the Wii U version, which I think they removed from the Switch version. There was a bunch of weird little things that you can't get boost mode anymore. Boost mode, like that made it a 5-player game rather than a 4-player game on Wii U.
Is boost mode gone?
Yeah, boost mode's
like,
gone.
completely?
There's no boost mode. You can't boost.
You could still do that with like a 5th player using gyro. There's no reason to remove it.
Boost, and it takes longer to load levels. Like it's like 3 seconds longer to load the level select screen. Which like that sounds like nothing.
The notoriously slow Wii U console.
Yeah, that sounds like nothing. But when you die and like you get kicked back to the world map, which loads, and then you go back in, which loads, it adds up over and over again. And somehow the Switch was slower than Wii U in this case.
That's awful.
Yeah, it is 1080p now though. So it got resolution boost. It got Peachette.
We lost Miiverse though.
We lost Miiverse, yeah.
Because there was the Miiverse posts all over the world map. They made it difficult to choose Blue Toad or Yellow Toad. Which one isn't on the menu?
You couldn't have them
anymore?
simultaneously, could you?
You had to like do a button combo to make one of them appear.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so you can choose between blue and yellow with a cheat code, but you can't have blue and yellow at the same time. And I think the most egregious thing they did was they changed the spin to being a double tap of the jump button rather than it being on the bumper.
Oh,
but
God, I hate
you could
that.
revert it back to the bumper with a cheat code from the main menu.
Why? This is an objectively worse version than the original one.
This is the worst stream this is the worst deluxe game. There's nothing that's worse than this. This is D tier.
Yeah, D for deluxe.
But yeah, simply awful.
That's just the worst. Turning things around slightly, we've got Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX, which is a deluxe version of Red Rescue Team and Blue Rescue Team from GBA and DS. I played the original game on Nintendo DS. Funny story. The game has you do like a survey, like a questionnaire to determine what Pokemon you transform into.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I got Mudkip as the Pokemon I got. I know a lot of friends that would like just manually choose the Pokemon they wanted, but I wanted it to be a pure experience. I wanted to know who I was. And then all these years later, they released the demo for this, and you could take the quiz again, and I got Mudkip. I haven't changed.
Yeah,
at all.
You're still the same
apparently.
person that you were all those years ago.
Yeah. So it got a nice coat of paint. There's a beautiful like watercolor look to the game now that I absolutely adore. But at its core, it's still the same game. But they call it Deluxe, but it really is just a full-on remake.
It's perhaps the most deluxe-y game here because it's not a remaster. They've rebuilt it from scratch. They've added new things to it too. It's a hard one to rank because it really is an outlier among all the other ones. But yeah, I think it's a really cool remake, and I was hoping that it would lead to more Mystery Dungeon games. But that may now never happen with the Sony acquisition. I feel like it might have to be S, right? Just because it does so much more than any other game here, being that it is a remake.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty much right. It's like as deluxe as you can get.
Yeah, you can't get more deluxe-y than remaking from scratch.
It's quite literally the opposite of what happened in New Super Mario Bros. U. a game where they took content away.
They demade it.
Yeah. Keeping the Pokemon train going, though, we've got Pokmon Tournament DX. Pokmon Tournament was such a surprise on Wii U. What a wild thing that happened.
Yeah.
So getting it ported forward to the Switch in a DX version is super sick.
I loved it on both platforms. The Switch version is slightly higher resolution. And something that bugged me about the Wii U version, it always did, was they had a really strangely shaped character select screen, if you remember. So it was, it wasn't a square. It was like, I found like a Google image of it somewhere, but it was this strange shape, an indescribable shape. And that's because in the arcades, it continued with more characters, and they never ported that DLC to the Wii U. So it was always stuck with that really odd shape. And then the Switch version came along. It made it a nice shape. And then it got DLC as well, making it another odd shape, where it's almost a rectangle, but I think there's like one character missing from it being a full rectangle. Did
the arcade get more content then after DLC
Wii U
finished for... Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it didn't get more after DX, though.
Oh, I guess it did, yeah. I guess like added like Blastoise and all that in the arcade, and then Switch got that down the line too.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
So, how many characters were in the original game, then? I want to know how many.
I know they added quite a substantial amount more. I want to say they were like, I feel like there were like 12 or 14 or something in the Wii U game, and I think they ended up with like 26. Those are just rough numbers.
I mean, that's pretty substantial.
Yeah, and they also added new support characters as well. And I feel like it's just a better game all around. The Pokemon's always been good. I think it's like a really underrated spin-off. Yeah, and this one's just sort of better for the most part.
I couldn't agree more. I do find it a little odd that, you know, the way the content kind of came out for this game, like not getting it on Wii U kind of blows if you bought that version. But still, it's a pretty big upgrade. But
it's a half sequel for a fighting game, right? Like they could have just taken that base and added new fighters and called it Pokemon 2. That's kind of what it is. Just I guess not many new stages though.
I know it's a lot of characters, but the whole way that all went down is like making me look at it maybe in the B rank right now
because of the DLC rollout.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I guess it's not C. It's definitely not C. I think B's a decent place. Sure.
Yeah. It's good. I just wish that Wii U owners had gotten access to some of that content.
Yeah. Okay.
But then again, that might not be a fair assessment.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's not unfair. I guess even if we disregard Wii U owners, ranking it based on the deluxe version also getting DLC, like a complete pack, also having things that are sold separately. I guess we're coming back to that conversation soon with another game, but
very, very soon.
Yeah. I think B's a good place, sure.
Yeah, let's go with B. All right, so going back to that conversation right away, we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So Mario Kart 8 came out on the Wii U. It was a floundering system. You know, things were not going super hot. Then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out literally a month after Nintendo Switch launched with new characters. There were no new courses, right? It was
battle mode, like they had like eight courses.
Oh, there. Right. I forgot about battle mode.
Yeah, because that was a huge thing. The Wii U just didn't really have it had a battle mode. It didn't have battle tracks though. It just repurposed the core tracks, and no one played it. I guess a few did, but like you just roll around really big tracks, never bumping into anybody. There's no modes beyond like just hitting people with items.
Battle.
Yeah.
They went really hard with battle mode.
They did.
For Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because not only did we get actual battle maps, but they gave us fully featured modes, including a brand new one that we never had before. So we had Balloon Battle, we had Bob-omb Battle from Mario Kart Double Dash came back, which was cool. Shine Thief also came back from Double Dash.
Renegade Roundup. I love Renegade Roundup.
Yeah, Renegade Roundup, the brand new battle mode.
Yeah.
It's just cops and robbers. It's super fun.
Yeah.
I love having those potted piranha plants and gobbling up the other team, and just the whole thing where you can like hit the button to open the cage and let your teammates out is super sick.
For sure.
So I love that. The game also came with the Inklings. They joined the roster,
Right.
And they got their own battle map, literally being an actual Splatoon map, just outright.
Yeah. We got Bowser
just ported
Jr.
right
as
into the
well.
game. Was Bowser Jr. not in the Wii
He
U
was not in
version?
the Wii U version.
What? That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
But the big elephant in the room with this one, I guess, is the Booster Course Pass. Because we just knocked Pokmon Tournament for the DLC rollout, and then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has even more DLC.
Right.
But
Do we consider the circumstances of this too? Because Pokmon DX got its DLC within the year of its launch. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe did not. Its DLC came, 6 years after launch or something?
That's true. And if you're an NSO subscriber, you got that content for free.
Right.
And if you're playing Mario Kart, there's a very high chance that you're playing online.
Yeah.
So, it's 48 courses. It literally doubled the track count in the game. For a Mario Kart game that was so old by this point, instead of, selling and making a new game, they added all this content. I think that's good.
Yeah.
In this case.
Yeah, I think we can already bash this stuff if it happens within the rollout of the game's release. And this clearly wasn't intended when they shipped Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I think it's fine. Yeah. But when it comes to any missing features, there's a few. So in the Wii U version of Mario Kart 8, you could upload your Mario Kart TV tracks directly to YouTube. Can't do that in the Switch version.
Did anyone ever do that?
I don't know. there's also on time trials you could link your Miiverse post to them, so you're going down a time trial and someone can leave a message or a drawing. That was kind of neat. Also, the gamepad had a big horn that you could press. It goes beep.
Oh yeah, that I did actually use that a lot. That is a substantial missing feature. I'm gonna knock it a few points for that one. But Mario Kart 8 Deluxe got some other updates, free updates post-launch as well. Like we got the option to change what items show up.
Yeah.
Which is, they've never done that for Mario Kart, so that was really cool.
That was wild.
We got extra Mii racing suits for free.
Yeah.
They just added some. Honestly, I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is one of Nintendo's best packages ever.
Totally. And as Live Audience is saying, there was also Labo VR support. Was there VR support? I remember there being Labo vehicle support at the very least. I don't remember if VR was supported.
I don't remember there being VR, but you can definitely use the wheel and stuff.
And they added a Breath of the Wild Link with the Master Cycle, because it used to just be Green Tunic Link. They went above and beyond with updates for this one. I think this is probably another S tier one.
This is an S tier, and if we were going game by game, this would go over Pokemon for me.
Yeah.
This is as deluxe as you get.
In terms of what you're going to continuously play in terms of new content, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Pokemon Mystery Dungeons got a little bit of an unfair advantage in just the fact that it's a full-on remake, whereas this is deluxe, I think, in its purest form, where it's the same game, but just packed with new stuff.
Yeah. Well, what's next then, Brandon?
The next game is another game that is the original game packed with new stuff. This is the original Nintendo Deluxe game, Super Mario Bros. Deluxe for the Game Boy Color. This was my version of Super Mario Bros. Growing up, and it is excellent. This is my favorite way to play Super Mario Brothers. This version of the game is fantastic.
See, I love the extras and everything. When it comes to the screen crunch, though, I'd rather play the NES version. In terms of just playing the game, I'd rather stick with NES. But I love the bonus modes, though. I love You versus Boo in particular. That one's a banger.
You got you versus Boo, which has tons of levels and different difficulty versions for Boo if you do well enough. And then you have the challenge mode, which is super cool. You have score attack on every level. There's a hidden Yoshi egg you have to find, and then 5 red coins. So there's a lot of replay value for just the core adventure here.
And there's a world map now too, so it kind of like recontextualizes and makes Super Mario Brothers feel bigger. It's a really cool game, and I can't wait until this comes to NSO, because like you versus Boo online is just going to be so cool.
I remember the Nintendo World Championship finale where they brought this out as the final match. And so many people were like, I don't know what this is. And I'm sitting over here like cheering from the rooftops because I'm like, someone remembered this exists.
Yeah. Well, in terms of how we rank this, though, like we put New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe at the bottom for being worse than the original. I would say the core gameplay of Super Mario Bros. Deluxe is not as good as the NES version. I think you can see radically less. There are points in this game where you can't really see platforms below you, and that does hinder how you play it. But it's just the best supplement. Like, it doesn't replace the original, but it's so cool to stand alongside it. Whereas U Deluxe, that just makes me mad.
Well, I mean, you got to consider the context, too.
Yeah.
Like, Super Mario Bros. Deluxe was a Game Boy Color version of Super Mario Bros., so screen crunch was just inevitable. You're right, it is a worse way to play from that perspective, but there wasn't really a choice in order to get it on the system. I don't know if this is true for sure, but I felt it when I was playing it recently. I feel like the physics are slightly looser and a little bit more in favor of the player, because in the original Super Mario Brothers, Mario's momentum is very strong. He's very heavy. So like when you commit to a jump, you commit. But with I felt with Super Mario Brothers Deluxe, there was a little bit more freedom. But like I said, I don't know factually if that's true.
Okay. Well, based on all that, though, where would you rank this? Because for me personally, I think because of the screen crunch, I can't put it as an S. But with the bonus stuff, I would absolutely put it as an A, though.
I think I would put it as an A as well. We didn't even mention, like, they put Game Boy printer stuff in there. Like, as you save the Toads and save Princess Peach, you get access to a bunch of images you can print. You can customize the text on them. It's super weird, but, like, that's the kind of Nintendo weird that I love.
Yeah.
So it gets extra points for me just for that. But yeah, I think it belongs in A.
Our next game also has Game Boy printer support.
Good old Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. One of my absolute favorite top-down Zelda games. This is an excellent game. And the thing that makes it DX, for the most part, is the fact that it's color now.
Huge. That's a huge change, going from monochrome to full color. And there's a few other extras in here. But just it completely changes the world. People were begging for like Metroid 2 DX and so many other just sort of DX versions of Game Boy games, Mario Land 2 DX. Most of them never happened. But it's just such a nice way to play the game. And it also came with the Color Dungeon, which is one of the larger editions. And it's funny because you can play Link's Awakening DX on a regular Game Boy. It would just be black and white. And the Color Dungeon's still in there. But the way it locks out Game Boy players is you have to like hit colored switches, I believe, and you can't see what the switches are because it's color dependent. So you can cheese your way in there, but that's how they kind of lock out regular Game Boy players.
I didn't get to experience the Color Dungeon until the Switch remake. So I kind of had to look through it like through that lens. But because the way I played Link's Awakening as a kid was the original Game Boy version. I didn't have the DX port. But that dungeon's super cool, and the reward you get for it also plays with color by allowing you to either increase your power or defense, and then your tunic changes based on the choice you make.
Right. Yeah, it's
I love
cool.
that.
Yeah.
There was also the photos you could take of Link, and then you could print those out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we love Game Boy printer functionality. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never even seen a Game Boy printer in real life, but
I've got one over there, and I've printed out Link's Awakening pictures on it.
For me, I always just loved that you could look at the pictures in game even if you couldn't print them because they're cute.
Yeah, I like them a lot more than the remakes one. Like there's like a Peach one in the Game Boy version, which is just this beautiful pixel art, and then the Switch version just sort of uses like a regular Peach render. It's like, you could have gone cooler than that.
I can't believe they did that.
Yeah, I know.
It has this gorgeous anime art style for the opening cutscene, and they just used a baked Peach render they already had.
Yeah. This game doesn't add like a whole lot of content to be deluxe. Like it's the color dungeon, which is a big deal, and making the game color. But other than that, this is Link's Awakening.
Yeah, I don't. Even now, I don't feel like I really missed out on anything by playing the original version over this one. Even color, as big as that is for the time, wouldn't be a huge deal for me, I think.
Yeah.
So this might be controversial, but I think I might be putting it in B tier.
I thought you were going to say C for a moment. I was going to call you mad, but I think B is kind of the place for this. Because it's not as wacky as Super Mario Bros. Deluxe. It doesn't have anything like a co-op mode like Pikmin 3 Deluxe had. It doesn't really change the game that much, despite being a beautiful version of it.
Yeah, getting that one extra dungeon is cool, but it's not necessary to the gameplay. So yeah, B's a good spot.
And then our last one.
All right. So this last one was a last-minute addition that I requested because we were trying to find more deluxe things, and I thought of one. This is the Wii U Deluxe set. So if you remember when the Wii U came out, there was a standard edition. It was a white console with less onboard memory, and then there was a deluxe set, which is the black console with more onboard memory, Nintendo Land, and it came with the Digital Deluxe promotion. Why did they split the SKUs?
I think it's just to make... Everyone went for Deluxe. Like you barely see a white Wii U in the wild. I think that's just by design. It's just to make you... make you buy the slightly more expensive one. Because it was black. It was 32 gigabytes opposed to 8 gigabytes. It came with things like stands and a charging cradle, which I believe the basic version didn't. Nintendo Land was sold in some countries. We got a Zombie U bundle in Europe at launch. I think they later added other games in there. But I got that mostly for color. Like, I didn't really care about... Because we had like a white default Wii for most of that generation, and there were other Wiis out there. But black just felt like a more sleek color for the Wii U. So that's mostly why I went Deluxe, because I got an external hard drive anyway for memory. All the other bells and whistles were just kind of... they were there. But it's just sort of the obvious one to go for, right? It's more the standard one than the Deluxe one.
Back then, when I bought it because it came with Nintendo Land. I was like, it's just going to save me money. The game looks cool. And I think, wasn't the standard set only... It was like $300, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was $300 versus $350 for this.
The $350 is a steal compared to the standard edition. I don't know what was going on in the marketing department when this was being put together, but...
I think it's literally they wanted to devalue the cheap white ones to make the black one seem better.
It is better in every conceivable way.
Yeah. The one I've got the box over there for Zombie U. It also came with a Pro controller. So it was the Wii U Deluxe Black Console, Zombie U, and then a Pro controller too.
For the same price?
Yeah.
That's a really good deal.
Yeah. But do we consider with ranking this, though, whether they intentionally try to sabotage themselves to make this look good, though?
I mean, Nintendo historically sells hardware at a loss, doesn't they?
I think they're one of the few that sell them at a profit. Like PlayStation and
really?
Xbox absolutely sell at a loss.
It's hard to say then, because I need to see production numbers on the standard set. I want to know how much money they wasted making them.
Tag Kit and Krista, they might know.
Yeah, honestly, I might. I'm genuinely curious. But yeah, it does kind of feel like it was intentional sabotage, because and that's not even talking about Digital Deluxe promotion.
Yeah.
I got so many games for free because of how much money they gave you back. I think that was, what, a 2-year
It ran
deal?
for 2 years. What did you get back? Was it like 10% off all your purchases or something?
It was a substantial amount. It was enough to make it worth it for sure.
Yeah.
Because I got several games for free, like, you know, obviously cheaper ones like Virtual Console games, but I think there was even 1 or 2 occasions where I got retail games. Like, that's how much money you got back. So, like, from a value proposition, it was a good deal.
Yeah.
And I still think that, even though, you know, there might be marketing shenanigans.
Yeah. I mean, I guess with this one, all the other games here were older games that were revamped. This is not an older thing. This released alongside the regular thing. Does that matter?
Yeah. I think that matters. Yeah, I think that matters a lot, actually. Because like you said, this might be the deluxe version, but it might as well have been the standard version. This is the one everybody bought.
Right.
And because of that, you know, there's not much deluxe to really look at. We have to just then consider the console itself, which, you know, it does some cool stuff. It was very slow.
It's got the better version of New Super Mario Bros. U, though.
That's the 1 point it gets. It has Nintendo Land. It gets like 20 points for that. But I don't think this goes any higher than a C tier. I'm so sorry.
I feel like we do need to occupy that C tier, and I am happier to give the Wii U Deluxe bundle a spot above New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe.
That's so funny. Oh my goodness.
So this is what we've turned out with. S tier is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon and Mario Kart 8. A tier, Kirby's Return to Dreamland, Pikmin 3, Super Mario Bros. Deluxe. B tier, Pokken and Link's Awakening. C tier, the Wii U Deluxe bundle. And then D tier, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe.
Where it belongs.
Yeah.
Earlier, you were considering S tier for Kirby. Now that we've gone through the list, what do you think about that?
Nah.
No? Okay.
No, I don't think I'll budge. I think the 2 and S tier are a higher caliber. Kirby got a visual makeover, but it wasn't like a total remake. It still looked like Return to Dreamland, just with a more cel-shaded look, like more like a filter, I suppose. Very, very nice, but it's not Mystery Dungeon caliber, nor is it Mario Kart 8 caliber in terms of content.
Yeah, I totally agree. Isn't it wild that these are the only deluxe games that Nintendo's made? Because they've been using the name so much, we just kind of thought there were more.
Yeah, no, but they use a bunch of different subtitles, like Xenoblade's on the Definitive Edition train. Yeah.
Starts with a D.
And sometimes they even just use the word remastered, like with Metroid Prime.
Which might as well have been a remake.
Yeah. They don't know. We don't know. They don't know.
That's true. But I'm pretty happy with this list. The Deluxeiest deluxe game Nintendo's ever released, in my opinion, is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I think that stands pretty at the top.
Yeah.
And the least Deluxeiest game they've ever released. Deluxe, it doesn't deserve the word deluxe in the title.
Live audience is correct. There were new copy abilities in Return to Dreamland Deluxe. That is true. I still don't quite feel like it's S, but it's very close.
Oh, well, you know, it wasn't quite enough still.
It's
Super Mario
maybe it's like his own little
still
sub tier
belongs
between S and A. Like maybe you can be above the other A's.
Yeah, A+.
Yeah,
there you
sure.
go. We'll give it A+. But thank you guys for joining us. Let us know your own deluxe rankings in the comments below. I'm very curious where you all land on some of these. Are there any that you absolutely disagree with? Do you hate us for any of these choices? Where would you put the Wii U Deluxe set? I want to know. But thanks so much for watching. If you want to watch stuff like this while we're recording them live, you can join our live audience tier by clicking the Patreon link in the description below. But until next time, keep the games good and the vibes greater. Bye now.